Cheers, I do buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I'll be Tom the Whiskey Whisperer for the purposes of this video. So I try to get something straightened out here before I get rocking. There we go. And we should be good to go now. Let me make sure, and I'll focus all my attention on you. There we go. There we go. We're okay now, man. Anyway, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. I set this one up on purpose, and on purpose, I didn't invite a guest, but I do. We can invite a guest, let's say. Um, because I want to delve into politics a little bit, I didn't invite a guest because I don't want them to be, I want it to be their idea if they want to talk about politics or not. So if anybody wants to talk about it, we can. But I just felt there was, and I don't shy away from it because if you watch most of my videos, you'll see bits and pieces here or there, and my thoughts aren't a secret to anybody. My politics aren't a secret. I've got it out there, so I'm not worried for myself, but I don't invite guests when I do a video like this because I don't want to, hurt their base, if you will. But if anybody wants to be part of the video, let me know and I will send you the link, typically via Messenger. If you saw the title of the video, you probably got an idea what I'm going to get into, as the title is "When an Arraignments It Pours." As we know, the defendant was arraigned once again yesterday, and I'm not going to do him the courtesy of saying his name anymore. I'm just not. I mean, there is no doubt at this point that that the defendant is the worst president in our history. I mean, it's not even an opinion anymore; it's fact. Um, Facts are facts, and the truth is the truth. I mean, it's out there now. And there is no such thing as alternative facts. That is not a thing. You cannot make up your own reality and decide, well, I like him, so it's not true. Well, it is true. So now the decision is, because now that you know that he's corrupt, now that you know that he's a traitor, are you still going to stand behind him? Because that tells me about your character, or more importantly, lack thereof. Because anybody supporting him now has no character whatsoever. You don't care that he's a criminal. You don't care that he's a bigot. You don't care that he's a racist. You don't care that he's a traitor. You like him because he's just like you are, or your perception is anyway. Anyways, I digress. I'm gonna take a pause for the cause and pour us a little something to drink. Anyway, I got the Ben Holiday bottled. I have the Ben Holiday soft red wheat here, but I wasn't locating that bottle, so I'm just gonna have this one with you. I decided to have something else with you anyway. I'm going to pour 1 ounce here, 1 ounce even. Keep the pour small because the whiskey's big. That's a good line, Tom. I like it. Yeah, I thought it was clever when I said it too. I've got a holiday glass here that I picked up when my wife and I were in Weston a week or so ago, 2 weeks. A very nice area. It's a small town, so we didn't think we need more than 1 night there. But truthfully, I could probably spend a couple, 3 nights there because it is a small town. But there are some interesting things. It's very Irish themed, so it was very much in the wheelhouse for my wife and I. Anyway, I've got the Ben Holiday, which is in Weston, Missouri. Ben Holiday, Missouri straight bourbon whiskey, bottled in bond. This is 100 proof. I also have. I'm not going to open it right now, but I also have the Rick House version of that bourbon that I haven't opened yet. But I want to show it to you. And I also bought the soft red wheat Rick House, and it is rather amazing. But I haven't opened that bourbon yet. I'm going to wait a little bit before I open that. So I'm going to just have 1 ounce of that with you. Then I'm going to have another one that I picked up in the Kansas City area. Out of Lenexa, Kansas, to be more specific, but for Union Horse, the Rivalist. It's an American single malt whiskey, and oh my lord, it is absolutely delicious. But I'm going to start with this one here. Oh man, so this is the 100 proof bottled and bond version. So it's a minimum of 4 years old, a bare minimum. It has to be at least 4 years old. In this case, I believe they say it's 6 years old. but it has to be one distiller and one distilling season. Oh, just absolutely beautiful whiskey. As good as any 100 proof whiskey, any bottled and bond whiskey on the market, and better than most. It is just delicious. I just stopped at the distillery when we were up there. I didn't drink anything there because I just wanted to get a couple bottles to go. I knew I was spending a lot of money getting those two to go, so I didn't have a drink there, even though their cocktail lists look rather impressive. Uh, oh, this stuff is just gorgeous. Yeah, you're going to find the usual suspects, right? Anybody watching, obviously, if any questions or comments, put up on the screen. Again, I'll say one more time: if you'd like to be part of the video, let me know, and I will send you the link, typically via messenger. But yeah, I mean, you're going to get the usual suspects on the nose. You're going to find a fair amount of vanilla. In this case, I get more. I'm gonna take a drink before I say that. I get a very deep, almost very dark caramel note, right? That very dark, almost burnt sugar caramel. You might find some stone fruit, or not stone fruit, but dark fruit as you get around the middle. I was thinking stone fruit because I was thinking a very dark, almost overripe plum. But I was also thinking you might pick up some date and or fig. Certainly, some raisin wouldn't be out of the question either, or even dark cherry. Get a lot of like sweet cream vanilla near the end as you get to that big oak and spice finish that it has to offer. This stuff is just beautiful, man. I don't care who you are. That's gorgeous, man. Anyway, I digress. I didn't realize as I was getting things ready for today that it was National Whiskey Sour Day. So at 7 o'clock, I'm going to do a video dedicated to the whiskey sour. I'm going to do two, maybe three. And I say maybe because I don't. So want to do a Boston Sour, but I don't have any pasteurized egg whites. So if I do a Boston Sour, I've got to use an actual egg white. Now I think I'll survive because I ate a lot of cookie dough in my time. But I don't know if I want to go through that hassle. Mostly is what I'm getting at. But I did look up a recipe earlier that I'm not familiar with the New York sour, so I looked up a recipe. So I'm going to try to do a version of a New York sour. So I'm going to do a traditional whiskey sour, and I made my own simple syrup, which is a little bit different too. Typically, I made it several ways over the years, but all you need to do to make a whiskey sour simple syrup is, well, basically a good sugar. In this case, I'm using raw sugar, water, equal parts water to sugar, and then you can add whatever you want to add. I add, typically just lemon juice is all that's needed. So I did add the lemon juice, but what I also did is I also took that zest or the rind off the lemon without getting the pith in there, and then I let it scoop because that's where all the oils are. That's where all the aromatics are. So I took that off and I put that into my simple syrup, so you get those aromatics involved. But I also added some lime juice. I added some fresh lime juice to it as well. So I've got the lemon juice, the fresh lime juice, but then I also added some dried orange zest to really accentuate the citrus. And then I also added some fresh mint that my wife had picked from our garden out there. So I got a little bit more going on than usual. So I'm going to do a close to traditional whiskey sour. Then I'm going to do a version of a New York sour because, like I said, I've never made one before, so I'm kind of winging it. And I may do a Boston sour. Just depends. I do enjoy a Boston sour, but I usually have a carton of egg whites, and I forgot to look for them today when I went out to the store. Uh, my cat's killing me. She's normally pretty quiet. She's getting old. She's almost 17, but today she's been romping around as as uh as Tommy Lee Jones said in Men in Black, terrassing around in a brand new Edgar suit. Yeah, she's just jumping on everything, knocking stuff down. Uh, but Ed's at that point in her life where she can't get in trouble anymore. She's 16, and it's okay. That's just Ed. And she can do pretty much anything she pleases at this point. And I'll just have to pick it up when I'm done. I love you, Ed. Anyway, I digress. Let me finish this up here as we're getting close. So let's talk about 63215, shall we? Because now everybody wants to get weighed at the Fulton County Sheriff's Department because apparently their scale is about 110 pounds off. Anyway, I digress. 63215, he claims to be. I'm guessing he's much closer to 5'10", 3 1/4. In fact, if there was a pool, that is definitely the square I'd want that said 5'10", 3 1/4. Because I think I'd have a lot better shot than the guy that said 6'3", 215. Anyway, I digress. I mean, who the hell does he think he's fooling? 6'3", 215, really? Come on, man. Anyway, this is the state we're in. Quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing we don't want to put our country through this. We shouldn't. I'm tired of those apologists saying we shouldn't put our country through this. No, you're exactly wrong. This is exactly what our country needs to go through to show that nobody is above the law. To show that somebody who has blatantly been corrupt, obviously been corrupt, told everybody he's corrupt, stole classified documents, obviously committed treason at this point. Yeah, if anybody needs to be, if anybody needs to be prosecuted, it's that man right there. It is the defendant. I mean, how many more indictments do you need to see to to finally get it? But we have a certain segment of society that has been blinded by this individual, that is no longer, if they ever were, capable of critical thinking. They want to believe every conspiracy theory that comes down the pike because anything close to reality interferes with their belief system. When you've got known bigots, when you've got known KKK members, when you've got known neo-Nazi members defending you, yeah, there's something wrong. The fact that certain people just don't get that is just amazing. I mean, it's not opinion anymore. That administration is the most corrupt in our history. He is the worst president in our history. There is no doubt about that. That is fact to anybody that is capable of understanding the truth. I mean, he's a horrible, despicable human being that calls people names that he doesn't agree with, or that have the audacity to challenge him. And that is classic bully mentality. And the fact that some people can't grasp that is, I mean, it just amazes me. How do you not see that as classic bully mentality? All right, as we wrap that one up, pour one more. I'm going to pour an ounce even of the Rivalist. This one comes in at 96 proof. Using my Restless Spirits as I measure this out, and actually to the rim, it's actually an ounce. It's actually a jigger glass, ounce and a quarter. You're going to pour that in there. You're going to love the color of this whiskey. It just pours so gorgeous. American single malt. It's not necessarily a new animal, but it's new to a lot of markets, and we're seeing more and more of them. This one came out, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. It was the first time I was able to pick it up. I can't get it in my neck of the woods here in Springfield, even though we aren't that far from Kansas City. I had to pick up a bottle while I was in the neck of the woods. Again, it's at 96 proof American single malt whiskey. This stuff is just beyond gorgeous. I got to tell you, Rivalist American single malt whiskey is a small batch artisanal whiskey made from 100% malted barley. So check that out. 100% malted. So it is a legitimate whiskey anyway. 100% malted barley by Union Horse Distilling, handcrafted from start to finish using the finest Midwest barley in our copper pot still. And I don't know why everything is better in a copper pot still. I don't know the science behind it all. I just know it is. I know it tastes better, man. The copper pot still. Then aged to perfection in new oak barrels. That's kind of the thing, though. I know some American single malts are trying to are using used bourbon barrels, like much like an Irish single malt, but this uses new, which is why you have that darker color going on. Beautifully complex and elegantly simple, Rivalus combines tender notes of caramel, orange peel, and baking spice with long-lasting succulent finish. There we go. So it does do all that, but I'm going to add a couple other things as we go along here. Using my Restless Spirits glass here, I've got 1 ounce port, or an ounce and a quarter, because I did fill it up right to the top, man. Oh man, that nose is just insane. So give me some peppery notes as well. I'm going to say more white pepper than black pepper. Again, they say caramel, but I'm going to put a slightly finer point on it. I'm going to say more of a dark, almost burnt sugar caramel. They say orange peel. Oh gosh, that's just gorgeous. Yeah. I almost feel like you pick up some very dark, almost overripe plum notes in there as well as some dark cherry notes. Big, bold, and oaky in the finish. A lot of spice. They say baking spice. I'm going to say allspice, cinnamon. I'm going to say ginger. I feel like I'm picking up some ginger in there as well. You might find some clove. Might even find some nutmeg, but that's what I feel most. It's allspice, cinnamon, and some ginger. Oh, damn, that's just good, man. I don't care who you are. That's just tasty. That's just tasty, man. That's just good. So anyway, well, those were some interesting years, weren't they? I mean, especially through COVID when he intentionally downplayed it. Even is caught on tape saying he's intentionally downplaying it, knowing people are going to die. And still, he's got a fan base that won't acknowledge that. Again, facts are facts, and the truth is the truth. There is no such thing as alternative facts. I mean, facts are facts. So yeah, he intentionally downplayed it. That's a fact. He's on record as saying it. He is responsible for causing hundreds of thousands of more deaths than he could have if he would have done the right thing that anybody else would have done. Anybody with any character would have said, "Hey, this is bad. Put on a mask. Stay your ass home." But he didn't say that. He played to the ignorance of his base. He knew how stupid his supporters were, and he played to that. Those that are still following this moron have no integrity, no backbone, and no character whatsoever. And again, I don't even feel like that's opinion anymore. I mean, if you're still following somebody of that low moral character, I've got nothing. I've got nothing for you. Yeah, you're an idiot. I've got no time for you. I don't want to be your friend. Or, if you're really that stupid, hey man, here's to you. Clearly, I'm not going to change your mind because the facts are the facts. The truth is the truth, and there is no such thing as alternative facts. Anyways, I digress. I mean, Nixon's got to be rolling in this grave by now. I mean, what Nixon did was puppy shit compared to what this person did. And Nixon was unceremoniously tossed out. But people will still buy this bullshit. I just don't get it. I don't know how brain dead you got to be to still follow somebody that's stupid. Somebody that can't spell hamburger, can't spell coffee. We're still trying to figure out what Kofifi is. Wants to nuke hurricanes, rake the forest. Yeah, people are still following somebody that freaking ignorant. Really? Okay. If you're really that stupid, no amount of reality that I'm going to tell you is going to change your mind. And here's the thing: you can have conversations with these folks. Pull up the phone, take your phone out, and pull up the actual fact and show them on your phone what the fact is, not your opinion, but the facts that have been proven, and they will still deny it because they have their head so far up this ignorant ass's ass that they just don't care anymore. They're going to believe whatever they believe because if they don't, that changes their whole belief system. They have to challenge everything they've thought for the last, well, however many years. I was going to say 4 or 6, but the truth is it's been longer than that because they've had these bizarre, ignorant ass beliefs for a long time before he got elected. So, in conclusion, as I wrap this up, the truth is, I don't get into politics a lot. I've said things here and there, especially on these at the podcast, but I don't shy away from it either. My opinions are well known. Anybody who knows me knows that. I mean, they're on some of my other videos as well. So I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. But I didn't want to have a guest on this particular show because I knew what I was going to get into. I wanted, if anybody wanted to be a guest, I wanted it to be their idea. That'd be your idea to come on and have a conversation with me. If you're if you're capable of critical thinking. But then again, if you're capable of critical thinking, I know you're not a supporter of the defendant. Mercy. So, anyways, I digress. I will be back at about 7 with some whiskey sours because it's National Whiskey Sour Day. So I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, at least for the purposes of this video. Uh, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Thanks for tuning in.